Hello everyone and welcome back to the FPL Mike channel. And this is the video of game week 4 team selection. And I've made a couple of big choices. And just let me walk you through the team. And then I'll tell you what it is and what decision I make and why I made those decisions. So in goal is Verbruggen. As I mentioned before, I'm not planning wasting a transfer on goalkeeper. So Verbruggen gets in ahead of Dubravka, who's got Liverpool at home, and then backline consists of Pedro Porro against West Ham away, Chris Richards against Sunderland at home, and Tarkowski against Villa at home. So Porro here edges for the attacking threat and the upside of how that Spurs team will probably crush West Ham given how shit they are currently at the moment. So West Ham are actually the joint the joint team that conceded the most amount of goal in the Premier League in the first 3 game weeks. They conceded 8 goals, which joins Wolves in the bottoms. So that's why I think Spurs offense can really crush that Forest defense. Can really crush that West Ham defense. And I think Porro will get the odd attacking returns there and there. So that's why Porro's in. And Chris Richards is really for the fixtures of Sunderland at home. I'm expecting a clean sheet from Chris Richards. And realistically, it would be better if you got Daniel Munoz in. Because of how attacking he is and the goal threat he can create down in the right hand side, but I don't have the money nor a free transfer to get Munoz in. So Richards will be in the team and expecting a clean sheet. If lucky enough, a header and probably a DEFCON point as well there for Richards. And for Tarkowski, it is literally just for the DEFCON points because he's got he's got DEFCON in all 3 games, which makes him a very, very good choice in my opinion. I think at this price tag, he is the real DEFCON monster, right? Not like Murillo, everybody said before the season started how Murillo is good at DEFCON, but it shows you that James Tarkowski is the real deal. And moving on into the midfield, the first transfer and the only transfer I made is a transfer out Ismail Assar, who's going to be out for 2 weeks until game week 6, and I brought in Kaoru Mitoma. There is not a lot of option for me, especially I have no money on the bank. I can only pick players from 6.5 million and below. The reason I transfer out Assar is because I think the fixtures, the great run of fixtures of Crystal Palace just ends in game week 6. They'll have Liverpool home, Everton away, Bournemouth, Arsenal. They're not great fixtures. So if Ismail Assar come back at that point, I'm most likely not going to play him during that period of time. So that's why I transfer him out. Because if he missed the Sunderland and West Ham game, I think the value of Ismail Assar just dropped massively. And there are actually a couple of options that have struggled on who to replace Ismail Assar. So the first one that came to mind is Youri Tielemans, who is a penalty taker, and Villa had a great run of fixture until game week 7. But what puts me off for Youri Tielemans is, I think his threat going forwards, his attacking goal threat is not enough, and it is unbelievably how shit Villa is. Really, how frustrating Villa is. And so that's why I didn't choose Youri Tielemans, although I think he will be the penalty taker for Villa, and Villa had a great run of fixtures. And the next option I've considered is Harvey Barnes, because of the injuries Newcastle have with Wissa out and Jacob Ramsey and Gordon suspended. So it's very likely that Harvey Barnes is going to start this game against Wolves at home. Unless Eddie Howe put out the team where he put out last game week against Leeds United, where he put a 5 at the back and 2 forward in front, which I don't think is the right move. because Newcastle is ultimately still much better than Wolves, and with the joining of Voldemar there, I think they're capable of playing back to their 4-3-3 formation, playing Harvey Barnes off the right and Jacob Murphy off the left, or they switcheroo a little bit. That's why I think Harvey Barnes is a great option. But the point for Harvey Barnes is the slight minute risk. I think he's probably going to get subbed in the 75th to 80th minutes. So Eddie Howe will give like young players a little bit more chance, like Lewis Miley, etc. So that's why that puts me off Harvey Barnes. And of course, I've also considered the likes of Caicedo and Elliot Anderson because of the DEFCON situation around. But I just don't want to double up on Forest or Chelsea at this point, especially the second player is a CDM, so that's why it puts me off a little bit. And another option, of course, is Lucas Paquetá. He's a penalty taker for West Ham. West Ham, he actually got 2 goals. But I just think West Ham is not that convincing to me because of what happened in the locker room potentially, and how Graham Potter's system might not being able fully adapted by the players. So that's why it puts me off a little bit of Lucas Paquetá because he's not going to get a penalty every single game, and the goal he scored as a Chelsea is a wonder goal, which is hard to replicate. So that's what puts me off a little bit. And that leaves me the 2 Brighton option, which is Yankuba Minte and Nakara Mitoma. Between the 2 of them, I've chosen Mitoma for the reasons that I think Mitoma is a more well-rounded player, and he's got more minutes than Yankuba Minte, in my opinion. And I think he's a more skilled player as well. His dribbling skills, etc., will provide more attacking threats to me, in my opinion, than Minte. The thing for Yankuba Minte is he's probably going to get you DEFCON points because he got it last game. So I think that's the upside of Yankuba Minte. So those are the few options, and in the end, I've gone for Kaira Mitoma to going for that potential upside of an explosion game of Kaira Mitoma. And moving on to the other midfield, nothing else changed. Fernandes in against City away. Dewsbury Hall against Villa at home. Salah and Vert. And I've triple captained Vert here. I have to admit, it's a bit of a gamble. But the couple of things that made me make this decision is that first, in the first 3 game weeks, in my opinion, Burnley is probably one of the worst team, if not the worst team in the Premier League this season. He's certainly the worst team among the 3 promotion teams. And secondly, the right-hand side, the right flank of Burnley will always been exposed in the first 3 game weeks, as we can see. Remember the Brennan Johnson goal and the Richarlison goal? The bicycle hit of Richarlison, they all come from that Burnley right-hand side because of whatever the miscommunication is between between the defenders and the midfielders, or whatever that is, because that right-hand side of Burnley is shockingly bad. So that's why I think Verts, who normally moves into that position, will have a really good opportunity of putting in some deadly crosses, deadly passes, or even a goal chance or 2. Third thing is that Mohamed Salah has not scored against Burnley in the last 6 league matches. Yes, in the past 5 years, Mohamed Salah have not scored against Burnley. When I found out this, I'm very shocked. And plus, I think Arne Slot is trying to, make Florian Wirtz the new core of that team, which is definitely gonna weaken the ability of Mohamed Salah of what he can provide in that team. So I highly doubt. Well, I know I'm probably going to get punished by Mohamed Salah in the end, but highly doubt that Mohamed Salah would do a lot of things this game week. I'm not saying he's not going to score or assist. I just think that the potential upside of Florian Wirtz and how he fits in that system, how he can attack the right hand side of Burnley, gives me the belief, the confidence to triple captain him in this game week against Burnley. And then lastly, moving on to the forward line, is the disappointing Ollie Watkins, which I hopefully can see something from him, and the João Pedro, which basically 2/3 of the people in this game have João Pedro. It just shows that how great of a pick he is, and I apologize for my saying at the start of the season that I think he's not necessary, but I think at this price point, especially with the injury of Liam Delap, his minutes is even more secure in my opinion, and so that's why João Pedro is on this team. And the bench, there's nothing else. The Bravka is there. And the reason I made the transfer aside is because I've got Larson injured as well. So I have to get another different attacker. But I'm going to put Larson there. Hopefully he can play against Leeds, because Wolves do have a decent fixture run upcoming. And Murillo, disappointing, but not going to sell it before the next 2 game week. Before game week 5 and 6. And Ronaldo just as a 4.0 enabler, which I think actually did pretty well amongst all the 4.0 midfielder. And that's it, my team selection and all the updates. I've brought it to you guys. And thank you so much for watching. Leave a like, comment, and don't forget to subscribe to FPL Mike channel. And I'll see you guys after game week 4. And hope everybody have a good game week. And also hope Florian Wirtz can do his job. Thank you very much.